Hello students, I am Gurleen Kaur, an assistant professor in Tirthankar Mahavir University, and I am going to teach you the subject environmental studies. Our today's topic is acid rain and its harmful effect on the environment. So here we start. In today's class, we are going to study what we are understanding by the term acid rain, what are the different definitions given to the acid rains, what are its harmful effect, causes, and how it can be prevented. So this is our first slide, which consists of introduction to acid rain. Now, what is acid rain is? Acid rain is a serious environmental issue that has been causing significant damage to ecosystem worldwide. It is a form of precipitation that has an unusually high level of acidity, typically due to the presence of certain pollutants in the atmosphere. So what is acid rain? When the precipitation consisting of some of the harmful acidic elements, which are known as pollutants, that consist of a acid rain. So this acidity can have detrimental effects on plants, animals, and even on the human health. In this presentation, we will going to study the definitions and formations of the acid rain, its causes, and the various ways in which it can harm the environment. So this is the introduction slide. So what is the meaning of the acid rain? It is a form of precipitation that has an unusually high level of acidity, typically due to the presence of the certain pollutants in the atmosphere. What is now pollutant? Pollutants are all those harmful substances which is contributing towards the pollution. So we can say any type of precipitation that falls to the earth from the atmosphere that contains acidic elements such as nitric or sulfuric acid, whether it be dry or wet, is referred to as acid rain or acid deposition, we can say. This can include acidic dust as well as rain, snow, fog, hail, and so on. So any kind of precipitation that falls on the earth from the atmosphere that contains some of the acidic elements which are commonly termed as pollutants, like for example sulfuric acid, nitric, etc. So all these pollutants who are contributing towards the acidity and after falling from the earth, which is termed as a acid rain. So in this class we are going to study what are the different definitions, formations, and causes of the acid rain. This slide consists of definition and formation of the acid rain. Definition: acid rain is term used to describe precipitation such as rain, snow, or fog that has a higher than normal level of acidity. This is typically measured by the pH scale, with normal rain having a pH around 5.6, while acid rain can have a pH as low as 4.0 or even lower. So definition of the acid rain is that any kind of precipitation which can be in the form of rain, which can be in the form of snow or fog or hail, etc. So any kind of precipitation which is considering some which is consisting some of the pollutants and whose pH level is normally lower than the 5.6 value. So 5.6 values are normal rain pH value. So if the values goes down from that 5.6 and which can be lower up to 4.0, so it means it is more acidic in nature, which results into the acidic rain. So any kind of precipitation, whether it is in the form of rain, in the form of snow, or in the form of fog, who has the that has a higher than a normal level of acidity, so which consists of a normal level of higher than normal level of acidity. Normal level of acidity can be up to 5.6, but if that values goes on increasing or decreasing, that is known as acid rain. So the formation of the acid rain can be done like acid rain is formed when a certain air pollutants such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides react with water molecules in the atmosphere. These pollutants are often released from the burning of fossil fuels, industrial processes, and vehicle emissions. As the pollutants mix with water, they form acids. which are then deposited on the earth's surface through precipitation. So formation, how does acid rain formed? When the pollutants such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides are reacts with the water molecules in the atmosphere, then the formation leads to the acid rain. So these pollutants are often released. How does these pollutants may get released? Due to the burning of fossil fuels, we can say, or through industrial processes and and vehicle emissions. So when the harmful pollutants such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides reacts with the water molecules which is being presented into the atmosphere, then it converted in the form of acid rain. And from where these pollutants arises, it can be arises from the burning of the fossil fuels, industrial processes and vehicle emissions. As the pollutants mix with the water, they form the acid which are then deposited on the earth's surface through precipitation. So this is the formation of the acid rain, when the harmful chemicals mixed with the water molecules and then they reacted and takes the form of a acid rain. Like in this diagram, as we can see, the pH of rainwater is normally slightly acidic at about 5.6, due mainly to reaction of carbon dioxide with water to form a carbonic acid, which means when CO2, carbon dioxide, is mixed with the water, that is H2O, then it may leads to H2CO3. Now, how do we measure the level of acid in the precipitation? So the precipitations which can be in the form of rain, which can be in the form of snow, which can be in the form of hail, so their acidic level can be measured. But how it can be measured, we will study in this slide. So acidity and alkalinity are measured using a pH level for which 7.0 is neutral. So as we have already seen that the pH scale which consists some of the numbers, so the 7 range is of neutral, we can say it is a neutral number. At 7 we can say all the elements are neutral, but the lower substance, the pH less than 7, is more acidic. It is the higher a substance pH greater than 7. So as we will diminish the rate, their pH level is also when the lower the substance pH level, the more acidic it is. So when the pH level is going on decreasing, like from 7 it goes to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in that case it is more acidic, the more alkaline it is. Normal rain has a pH of about 5.6. It is slightly acidic because carbon dioxide dissolves into it, forming weak carbonic acid. Acid rain usually has a pH between 4.2 and 4.4. So we can say at 7 all the substances are neutral, but if the number goes on decreasing and it leads up to the 4.2 and 4.4, it leads to the pH level more acidic, which increases the level of acidity into the rain. As we have seen, as we can see in this diagram also, that at pH 0 there is battery acid, at pH 2 lemon juice, at pH 2.5 it is referred as soda, at pH 4.3 acid rain, at pH 5.6 clean rain, at pH 7 distilled water that is very clean and clear that we can even drink also. At pH 7.4 it can found under blood. pH 8.1 is consist of seawater, pH 9 is baking soda, pH 11 is ammonia, pH 12.6 is bleach, and pH 14 is liquid rain cleanser. So we can observe this from this diagram also, that at pH 7 there is a clean rain, we can say, and if at pH 5.6 we can say there is a clean rain, at pH 7 there is a distilled clean water. But if it goes on decreasing, like at pH 4.3, it is referred to as a acid rain. So when the pH level is decreasing, it means the more acidic a rain could be. So at pH 4.3 there is a chances of acid rain, and at pH 2.5 it be termed as a soda, and pH 2 is termed as lemon juice, and pH 0 is a battery acid. So with the help of this diagram, I hope it is understandable by everyone. Now, these are the causes of acid rain. Acid rain is caused by the release of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide into the atmosphere, where they react with water, oxygen, and other chemicals to become sulfuric and nitric acid, respectively. The pH of acid impacted rain is generally below 4.5 on the pH scale. So, as we have already studied in the previous slides, that when the sulfur dioxides and nitrogen oxides, all these harmful pollutants reacts with the atmosphere, reacts with the water, oxygen, and other chemicals, then there is a more disastrous chemical is being formed, which is termed as sulfuric and nitric acid, and which is being converted into the acid rain. So the pH of acid impacted rain is generally below 4.5 on the pH scale. Now, these are the causes of acid rain. So, its causes may be natural sources also and human sources also. Natural sources consist of, as acid rain can be found by natural causes such as due to volcanic eruption. So, volcanic eruption is a natural disaster, we can say. So, the gases coming out from these volcanic eruptions may leads to the acid rain. So, when the gases releasing from the volcanic eruption such as sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide is being mixed with the water vapor present in the atmosphere, and then they reacted and they can form in the, and they can typically form into the acid rain. So natural sources which are on which there is no control of the human, it occurs naturally, like the natural disaster. So from the natural disasters, the many gaseous elements is being released which took a form of the pollutant, and after that those pollutants are mixed with the water, oxygen, and other chemicals, and it took a form of a acid rain. Next is human sources. So burning fossil fuels, manufacturing, oil refineries, electricity generations, and vehicles are release sulfur and nitrogen oxide into the atmosphere. In the United States, about 2/3 of all sulfur dioxide and 1/4 of all nitrogen oxides comes from electric power generation that relies on burning fossil fuel like coal. So these are the human sources which arises due to the human activities like burning of the fossil fuel. If we burnt out the fossil fuels, the gaseous elements releasing from those fossil fuels mixed with the atmosphere, and which may lead to the acid rain also. Like manufacturing, like oil refineries, electricity generations, and vehicles all release sulfur and nitrogen oxide into the atmosphere. It's a live example that at United States about 2/3 of all the sulfur dioxide and 1/4 of all nitrogen oxides come from electric power generation that release on burning fossil fuels like coal. So this is the causes of acid rain, that can be natural sources also and human sources also. Here are some more causes of the acid rain. First one is fossil fuel combustion, second is industrial processes, third is vehicle emissions. So the burning of fossil fuels such as coal and oil for power generation and transportation is a major contributor to the formation of acid rain. These processes release large amount of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides into the atmosphere. So the fossil fuel combustion, we can say, after releasing after burning out of fossil fuels such as coal and oil, the power generation, transportation is a major contribution to the formation of the acid rain. So the releasing of all those gaseous elements after burning out of the fossil fuels, which may contribute for the power generation and transportation, is the major contributor towards the acid rain. As we already studied that the after burning out of the fossil fuels, the pollutants which are being releasing are known as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, and they mixed with the water presented in the atmosphere, and they reacted through them, and after that acid rain may occur. So these processors release large amount of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides into the atmosphere. So we must not contribute towards the burning of the fossil fuel. The burning of the fossil fuel should be restricted, otherwise the gaseous elements releasing from all these types of fossil fuels may lead to a disastrous impact, and which may enhance the ratio of acid rain. Next is industrial processes and vehicle emissions. So industrial processes consist of various industrial activities such as smelting, mining and manufacturing can also release significant amount of pollutants that contribute to acid rain. These include sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides and other acidic compounds. So we can say industrial processes such as smelting, mining and manufacturing can also release significant amount of pollutant that contribute to acid rain. So these include sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides and other acidic compounds. So after uh, uh, industries which are involving in the process of smelting, mining and manufacturing, so they also use many pollutants which comprises of like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides and other acidic compounds. So when these acidic compounds is being mixed with the water and which may cause to a acid rain. So industries are also responsible for creating the acid rain. Next is vehicle emissions. So the harmful gases which are being released from the vehicles are also very disastrous, like the combustion of gasoline and diesel in vehicles, particularly in areas with high traffic congestion, can release nitrogen oxides into the atmosphere, which can then react with water to form nitric acid, a component of acid rain. So vehicles are also releasing many harmful gaseous pollutants, like for example nitric acid. So when these acids goes on combined with the water molecules present in the atmosphere, they react with them and which form the acid rain. So the combustion of gasoline and diesel in vehicles, particularly in all those areas who has much traffic congestion, can release to the nitrogen oxide into the atmosphere and can then react with water to form a nitric acid, a component of the acid rain. So these are the causes of the acid rain: fossil fuel combustion, industrial processes and vehicle emissions. Now this slide shows us the formation of acid rain. How does the acid rain is being formed? So acid rain, as we already know, is one of the consequences of air pollution. So how does acid rain cause? Through the air pollution only. The harmful gases which is being present in the atmosphere, they react with the water molecules present under the clouds, and after that the rain which falls over the earth is in the form of acid rain. So air pollution is the major reason behind this. So it occurs when emissions from factories, cars or heating boilers contact with the water in the atmosphere. These emissions contain nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, which then mixed with water became sulfurous acid, nitric acid and sulfuric acid. This process also occurs naturally through volcanic eruption. So how does the formation of the acid rain can be done? That the major consequences of this is air pollution, and then it also occurs due to the man-made sources like burning of the fossil fuels, the pollutants which is being released from all these sources, like from factories, cars and heating boilers. And when the pollutants from all these sources come in the contact with the water in the atmosphere, then it took a form of a acid rain. So these emissions contain nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide, and when these harmful pollutants is mixed with the water, it become acidic, like sulfurous acid, nitric acid and sulfuric acid. So this process also occurs through volcanic eruptions also, which is a natural cause. So when the natural disasters occurs, then also this process occurs. So formation of the acid rain, we can say it can be in the form of, it can be through natural cause or it can be through man-made cause. So natural cause, which means with the help of volcanic eruption. So volcanic eruption, the many gaseous elements is being released at the time of volcanic eruption, so which come in the contact with the water molecule present over the atmosphere, and after that they took a form of some of the acid. So formation of the acid rain can be done through natural source also and man-made source also, when the sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide is mixed with the water and it took a form of acid, as this figure shows us. Like in this figure, there is an industry which is being releasing the gases such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. So when this gas is being releasing and entering into the clouds, and it mixed with the water, and after that it took a form of a acid rain, and it is coming back on the earth in the form of acid rain. Now this is the harmful effects on the ecosystem. So these are the harmful effects of acid rain on ecosystem. First one is disruption of nutrient cycle. Second is ecosystem degradation. Third is eutrophication. Fourth is reduced biodiversity. So we will go through them one by one. So let us start our first point, that is disruption of nutrient cycle. So acid rain can disrupt the natural balance of nutrients in soil, leading to the leaching of important minerals and the acidification of water bodies, which can harm aquatic life and stunt the growth of the plant. So disruptions to nutrient cycle can be caused due to the acid rain. Like for example, when the acid rain, which comes in the form of acid towards the earth, and it goes directly into the soil, and which can cause a compromisation towards the nutrient cycles of the plant. So the crops which is being planted is being damaged with the through the acid rain, we can say. So acid rain can disrupt the natural balance of the nutrients in the soil. So all those nutrients which are being present into the soil is being disrupted, is being destroyed with the acid rain, as the rain which composes of the acid which comes into the contact with the soil directly, the fertility level of the soil may goes on diminishing, so which leading to the leaching of the important minerals and the acidification of the water bodies, which can harm aquatic life and stunt the growth of the plants. Second is ecosystem degradation. The increased acidity in soil and water can cause significant damage to the delicate balance of ecosystem, leading to the decline or even extinction of certain plant and animal species that are unable to adapt to the changing conditions. So we can say the ecosystem is being degraded with the ecosystem, as the increased acidity in the soil and water causes significant damage to the delicate balances which is being present into the ecosystem, which leads to the decline of even extinction of certain plants and animal species that are unable to adapt to the changing conditions. So with the small creatures which are very critical, and which are not easily changed which not easily adopts the changes of the environment, so their extinction is being done through the acid rain. So ecosystem is also being degraded, as the plants and animal species are unable to adapt to the changing conditions which is arising due to the pollutants which consisting into the acid rain. Next is eutrophication. Acid rain can contribute to the process of eutrophication, where excessive nutrients in water bodies leads to the rapid growth of algae and other aquatic plants, which can deplete oxygen level and suffocate other aquatic life. So eutrophication is also being done through the acid rain, when it contribute to the process of eutrophication, where excessive nutrients in water bodies lead to the rapid growth of algae and other aquatic plants, which can deplete oxygen level and suffocate other aquatic life. So eutrophication is the process where excessive nutrients is being transferred into the water bodies, and which ultimately results in the rapid growth towards the algae and other aquatic plant. So eutrophication is done when there's a when the contribution of acid rain goes on increasing on the earth. So in that case, the aquatic life may also suffer due to the eutrophication. Fourth is reduced biodiversity. The cumulative effect of acid rain on various components of ecosystem can lead to a significant reduction in overall biodiversity, as sensitive species are unable to survive in the altered conditions. So it reduces the biodiversity. Biodiversity, which consists of the plants, animals, or all those living organisms. So their cumulative, their significant, their sensitive species are unable to survive in these altered conditions, as we can say. So due to acid rain, the biodiversity, which comprises of all the biotic components, goes on diminishing. So these are the harmful effects on the ecosystem. First one is disruptions of the nutrient cycle, second is ecosystem degradation, third is eutrophication, and fourth is reduced biodiversity. So biodiversity, which comprises of the biotic components, may also reduce due to the acid rain, due to the acidic components which is coming towards the earth, and the changes which is are not being easily adopted by the small creatures, and which may lead to the extinction of all those creatures. So these are the harmful effects on the ecosystem. We can say that the plants, animals, and agriculture all are severely harmed by acid rain. All nutrients necessary for plant development and life are washed away by it. Acid rain ability to change the soil composition has an impact on agriculture. It makes human and animal respiratory problem worse. The aquatic ecology is impacted when acid rain falls and seeps into river and ponds, because it changes the chemical makeup of the water. It pollutes the water and make the harder of aquatic ecosystem to exist. Water pipes corrode as a result of acid rain, which ruins structure and movements constructed of metal and stone, and which ultimately leads to a leaching of heavy metals like iron, lead, and copper into the drinking water. So these are the effects of the acid rain, as we have studied that their effects can be easily observed on the plants, animal, and all the agricultural activities, and as well as all the monuments also we can observe. Like we have seen, the Taj Mahal is severely impacted by the acid rain, as numerous industries in the city of Agra release sulfur and nitrogen oxides into the atmosphere. This issue becomes even worse by continuing to make use of firewood and inferior coal as a home fuel. So the marble reacts with the acid rain in the following ways, and calcium sulfate formed leads to the corrosion of beautiful landmarks. So the live example of acid rain can be easily seen on the marbles of the Taj Mahal, as the white marble goes into the form of the yellowing marble. Why? Because the industrial area which is being located nearby the Taj Mahal, the gases elements releasing from those industrial areas, such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides, those components mixed with the water molecules, and they reacts, which took a form of acid rain. And all when the acid rain is fall onto that white marble, then it may leads to the yellowing of that beautiful landmark, we can say. So acid rain can be very much disastrous for the environment. So these are the effects on the ecosystem. Now, impact on the aquatic life. How the acid rain is destroying the aquatic life. pH level, reproductive failures, food chain disruptions. So pH level, acid rain can lower the pH level of lakes, rivers, and other water bodies, making the water more acidic. This can be particularly harmful to aquatic organisms that have evolved to thrive in more neutral pH conditions. So the pH level of the lakes, rivers, and other bodies, making the water more acidic. As we have already studied in our previous slide, when the pH level is lower than the neutral level, then it consisting of more acid. So that acidic water may leads to the disastrous impact on the aquatic life, which may also leads to the death of the aquatic bodies. Like this can be particularly harmful to aquatic organism that has evolved to thrive in more neutral pH conditions. So this is very difficult for the aquatic life to survive the lower pH level conditions. When if the pH level of the water goes on decreasing, it becomes more acidic, and the aquatic organisms have to involve to death also. Next is reproductive failure. The increased acidity can disrupt the reproductive processes of many aquatic species, leading to decreased pollution and potential long-term declines in the biodiversity. So the acidic rain can also lead to the failure of reproductive systems of the aquatic life. So the increased acidity can disrupt the reproductive process of many aquatic species, which means they are not heading forward more fishes, more aquatic bodies into the soil, into the water, because of the failure of their reproduction system, as they are consuming all those acidic components, and which may lead to the failure of their reproductive system, which leading to a decreased populations and potential long-term declines in the biodiversity. So if the reproductive system of all the aquatic bodies may get failed, then the population may also decrease of all those aquatic bodies, and there is a potential long-term decline in the biodiversity. Food chain disruption. The effect of acid rain on aquatic life can ripple through the food chain, as the decline or disappearance of certain species can have cascading impact on the entire ecosystem. As we already know that what is food chain, when the one of the living organism is depending on the other living organism for their consumption capacity, that is food chain. So if one of those species is consuming some of the harmful acidic elements, so those goes on forward with the help of the food chain. So the effects of the acid rain can also be seen on the aquatic life through the food chain process, as a decline or disappearance of certain species can have a cascading impact on the entire ecosystem. So these are the impact on aquatic life, which is being due to the acid rain. As the pH level is below than the neutral level of the water, then it becomes more acidic, and if it is consumed by the living organism, then it may lead to the death of all those living organisms. Also the reproduction system may also get failed. Due to this, there can be decreases among the population of the aquatic life bodies, and the food chain may also get disrupted, as many of the small creatures may also die due to the consumptions of the acidic rain components, and which may lead to the cascading impact on the entire ecosystem. Now, damage to forest and vegetation can also be seen due to the acid rain. So how does acid rain affected the forest and vegetation? First one is they are damaging the leaf, as it come under the leaf damage. Second is soil acidification. Third is increased susceptibility of to diseases, and fourth is deforestation. So leaf damage. So acid rain can directly damage the leaves and needles of the trees and other plants, reducing their ability to photosynthesize and leading to decreased growth and vitality, which means when the harmful substances coming out from the industries, from all those man-made sources or natural sources, and when they react with the water molecule present in the atmosphere, and they comes down directly on the earth's surface in the form of acid rain. So that acid rain which is being observed, which absorbed by the plants and trees, so their leaf may got damages, as the small particles consisting on the leaves may get damages, which may reducing the ability to photosynthesize, and which may later on may leads to the deforestation and the dryness among the plants, we can say. So acid rain can directly damage the leaves and needles of trees and other plants, reducing their ability to photosynthesize and leading to decreased growth and vitality. Second is soil acidification. The acidity in an acid rain can leach important nutrients from the soil, compromising the ability of plant to absorb essential minerals and leading to stunted growth or even death. So soil acidification can be there when the acidic components which is coming out with the help of in the form of acid rain, when they mixed into the soil, then the infertility of the soil may get increased, and which may leads to the acidification of the soil, which enhance the destroying of the plants. So the acidity in acid rain can leach important nutrients from the soil, compromising the ability of the plants to absorb essential minerals and leading to a stunted growth or even to the death of the plants. So acidification can be much disastrous, much dangerous to the plants, as the once that acid is dissolved into the soil, then the plants, the crops, the fertility of the land may get compromised, and which may leads to the death of the plants also. Next is increased susceptibility to disease. So acid rain can also bring down the formation of many harmful diseases. Like acid rain can weaken the overall health of plants, making them more vulnerable to pest diseases and other environmental stressors, so the further exacerbating the damage to forest and vegetation. So we can say the when the acid rain comes directly into the contact with the plants and animals, it can may leads to various type of diseases, which making them more vulnerable to pest diseases and other environmental stressors. So these are also enhancing many of the diseases among the plants. Next is deforestation, as because of the acid rain the plants may go dry easily, and which may leads to the deforestations of the plants and trees. So these are the damages to forest and vegetation due to the acid rain. First one is leaf damage. So when the acidic components which consist under the acid rains, they come down over the earth, and which is being absorbed by the plants, and their photosynthesis process may also get disturbed, which may lead to the damaging of the leaves. Then the soil acidification, when they comes on the land, they are absorbed by the soils, which may lead to acidifications and even the stunt growth or even death, which causes even death to the plants. Next is increased susceptibility to diseases, which means that due to the acid rain, when the acid rain falls on the earth, which is being consumed by the plants and other vegetations, which may lead to many diseases, which may ultimately leads to vulnerable to pest diseases and other environmental stressors, and the dryness of the plants may lead to the deforestation. So these are the damages to the forest and vegetation. Effects on human health. So these are the effects which has been seen on the human health due to the acid rain. So first one is respiratory issue, second is cardiovascular risk, and third is neurotoxicity. So first is respiratory issue. So what does respiratory issue is? The pollutant that contribute to acid rain, such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, can directly impact human health, particularly by exacerbating respiratory problems like asthma and lung disease. So as we have already studied in the previous slide, that the harmful pollutants such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides, when they come in the contact with the water molecule which is being present into the atmosphere, and then they took a form of acid rain. So when these acid rain is being fall over the earth and is being consumed on by the humans, so it may cause a directly severe impact on the human health, as it may leads to the harmful diseases which is related to respiratory system like asthma and lung diseases. So our respiratory system, it may also get damaged due to the acid rain, as all these harmful gases which is being consisting under the acid rain released directly into the atmosphere, and they are consumed by the human health, and which ultimately results into the disastrous impact on the human health, like for example when the human is suffering from asthma and a lung disease. Second is cardiovascular risk. Exposure to these pollutants has also been linked to do an increased risk of cardiovascular issues, including heart diseases and stroke, as they can contribute to inflammation and other harmful effects, which means that cardiovascular, the diseases related to heart, can also arises due to acid rain, as the gaseous elements which is being released through the acid rain, when they are consumed by the human health, so this may ultimately results in the disastrous impact on the human health, as they can contributes towards the inflammation and other harmful effects. By having a heart disease, like one may suffer from a heart attack and even from a stroke. So cardiovascular risk is also arises due to the acid rain. Next is neurotoxicity. Certain heavy metals like lead and mercury can be released into the environment through acid rain and accumulate in the food chain, posing a risk of neurotoxicity, particularly for young children and pregnant women. So the level of risk is also arises when the acid rain is being combined with the food chain, so or when the food chain is being consumed by the human, then it may also causes many neurotoxicity diseases, like particularly which can be found into the young children and pregnant women. So the heavy metals like lead and mercury are very harmful, that when they once they are consumed by the food chain and when they are in circulation in an economy and which is being consumed by the young children and pregnant women, they may leads to very disastrous impact on the pregnant women as well as on the young children. So effects on human health can be observed on the when the problems is being arises on the respiratory issues, cardiovascular and the neurotoxicity. So respiratory issues, which comprises of all those diseases which are related to the lungs, we can say, through our respiratory system, like when due to acid rain, very severe diseases may arises like asthma and lung diseases. Cardiovascular risk are all those risks which are related to our heart, which are related to heart disease and stroke. So when due to acid rain, the gaseous elements which is being releasing through the acid rain, when they are consumed by the human body and which may leads to the heart disease and even to the stroke. Neurotoxicity, which means the heavy metals like lead and mercury can be released into the environment through acid rain and accumulate in the food chain, which posing to the neurotoxicity, particularly for young children and for the pregnant women. So these are the effects on the human health. So this slide consists of mitigation strategies and conclusion. So what are the strategies which is being adopted towards the controlling of the acid rain? So first one is reducing emissions, second is promoting renewable energy, and third is ecosystem restoration, and fourth is public awareness and education, we can say. So reducing emissions, so by reducing the emissions of the harmful gases, which is also being done by controlling the usage of vehicles, by controlling the usage of industrial harmful gases and all those burning of fossil fuels. When the emissions is being controlled, then the formation of the acid rain can also be controlled, like implementing stricter regulations on the release of pollutants such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide from industries and vehicles can help to reduce the formation of the acid rain. So when the emissions of all these gases, which is like such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides is being controlled, so which ultimately results in the controlling of the acid rain. So when these harmful gaseous elements which is being released from the industries, from the vehicles, from the burning of the fossil fuels, and when these harmful gaseous elements is being mixed with the water molecules present in the atmosphere, and then they form a acid rain. So when the emissions of these harmful gases is being reducing, then it may ultimately reduce in the formation of the acid rain. So emissions can be controlled by controlling the usage of the industries, chemical materials, and also by controlling the usage of the vehicles, as these are the main sources from where the harmful gaseous elements is being released, such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides. Second is promoting renewable energy. So with the help of transitioning to cleaner renewable energy sources like solar, wind and hydroelectricity power can significantly reduce the reliance on fossil fuels and the associated emissions that contribute to the acid rain. Which means if we promote renewable energy, if we rely more on the renewable energy and the usage of renewable energy such as solar, wind and hydroelectricity power goes on increasing, then the dependency on the fossil fuels which may can also decrease, so which may leads to the less contribution towards the acid rain. If we promote the usage of renewable energy, like wind, solar, air, water, etc., which may ultimately results in the reducing the dependency on fossil fuels. And if the dependency on the fossil fuel is being decreasing, then the burning of the fossil fuels is also being decreases. And if the burning is being stopped, then the harmful gases releasing after the burning of the fossil fuels, such as sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, and also the nitrogen oxide is also being decreasing, and which ultimately results less contribution towards the acid rain. Next is ecosystem restoration. So efforts to restore and rehabilitate ecosystem damaged by acid rain, such as planting trees and improving water quality, can help to mitigate the long-term effects and promote the recovery of these environments. So restoration can be done through the rehabilitation ecosystem which is being damaged by the acid rain, such as if we plant more and more trees and try to improve the quality of the water, which can results into the mitigating the long term effects and promotes the recovery of these environments. So this is also the solution, that if we try to restore the ecosystem by planting more and more trees, by diminishing the use of fossil fuels, by depending more on the vehicles, by depending less on the vehicles, and by using less of the harmful chemicals which is being derived through the industry. So there the ecosystem restoration can be done, which may helps in the recovery of the environment. Next is public awareness and education. Education is the key of all the things. Like if the person is aware of the facts that what are the negative consequences of all these things, so we must try to control it, and we can aware more and more people by knowing the consequences of all these acid rain. If the person is aware of the facts that the consequences are very disastrous, that they may cause a severe impact on the future generations also, then it becomes easy to control all these things. Otherwise the consequences may be very disastrous. So increasing public awareness and understanding of the causes and impacts of acid rain is crucial in encouraging individual and collective action to address this environmental issue. So public awareness and education can be done, and which may ultimately results in stopping the usage of all those gaseous elements, which ultimately results in diminishing the acid rain. So when the negative consequences of all these pollutions, of all the pollutants of which are contributing towards the acid rain is being told to other peoples also, and the control is being done, so that the collective action to all these environmental issues can be taken, and which ultimately results in the decreasing of the pollution. And if the pollution goes on decreasing, air pollution goes on diminishing, then the acid rain also being controlled. So these are some of the mitigation strategies and conclusions which is being written over the slide. Like first one is reducing the emissions. So when the emissions from the industries, from the vehicles is being controlled, the acid rain can also be controlled. Like promoting renewable energy, if we promotes the usage of renewable energy like solar, air, wind, water, etc., then the dependency of the fossil fuels on will be decreased, and which may leads to the control of the acid rain, as the harmful gases such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides can also be decreased. Ecosystem restoration can be done by planting more and more trees, by diminishing the use of the fossil fuels, by diminishing the use of all those elements which comprises of the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. So restoration can be done by following all these steps. Now public awareness and education is also very important. If we are aware of the facts that the consequences of the acid rain are that much disastrous, that it may also leads to the very harmful diseases in human as well as in all the living creatures, like heart stroke, heart attack, blocking of the respiratory system, asthma, etc. So these are the negative consequences of the acid rain. If the people are much aware of all these facts, that these negative consequences may be that much disastrous, that it may lead to it may leads to a very harmful disease, that even a person dies also. So if the public is aware, if the proper education is being provided to all the people, so their control can be easily done on the acid rain. So these are the mitigation strategies and conclusion. Now this is a case study. This is a case study. Case studies of acid rain in the Adirondack Mountain, New York. So Adirondack is a city which is being situated in the New York. So this is a case study. We will go through this case study and what is the main problem which we have, which is being arises in the New York, and what are the proper solution that is being taken by them. So the background of the study is as follows. The Adirondack Mountain in New York have been long affected by acid rain, primarily caused by sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide emission from coal-fired power plant and vehicle emissions. Acid rain has severely impacted the region's lake, rivers and forests, leading to the acidification of water bodies, which in turn has harmed aquatic life and disrupted ecosystem. So this is the background of the study, which comprises like the New York City Adirondack Mountain is being affected by the acid rain due to the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide emissions, which is being the emission is being done through the coal-fired power plant and through vehicle emissions. So the harmful gases is being released into the environment because of the coal-fired power plant and the vehicle emission, and which leads to the impact to the region like lakes, rivers and forests, leading to the acidification of water bodies, which in turn has harmed aquatic life and disrupt the ecosystem. So these harmful gases is being released into the lake, river and forest, which leads to the acidification of water, and which may leads to the harmful effects towards the aquatic life and disrupts the whole ecosystem. So this is the background of this case study. Now here is the problem. So problem is water acidification. Now many of the lake in the Adirondack became highly acidic, with pH level dropping below 5. As we have already studied that the neutral pH level is 7. If that pH level goes on diminish, it goes on decreasing from 7 to 6, 5, 4, it means that the level is more acidic. So the pH level of the New York City goes on dropping till 5. It means it is acidic. So this acidic environment has detrimental to fish and other aquatic organisms. Now next problem is being seen on the soil. How? Soil degradation. So the acid rain leached essential nutrients such as calcium and magnesium from the soil, weakening the trees and making forest more susceptible to disease and extreme weather. Next is biodiversity loss. The decline in water and the soil quality leads to significant reduction in biodiversity, affecting both terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. So here is the problem. The problem is being divided into 3 categories. First one is water acidification, second is soil degradation, and third is biodiversity loss. So the water acidification, which can be observed when the pH level goes on diminish below 5. So when the pH level is below 5, it means the water consisting in the river, lake is more acidic, and the aquatic life which is being depending on this water may have a high risk of being died also. Next is soil degradation. The quality of the soil may also degrade as the fertility of the land may get compromised as the acid rain reach directly into the soil, and the nutrients which are soil consisting such as calcium and magnesium, that such type of nutrients may goes on weakens, and which ultimately leads to the weakening of the trees and making forest more susceptible and diseases and extremely more disastrous. So the fertility of the land may goes the quality of the soil may goes decreasing as the elements which is being present in the soil like calcium and magnesiums are being compromised due to the acid rain, which may lead to the weakening of the trees, and the trees are also suffering from diseases. So the degradation of the soil is being also done due to the acid rain in the city of New York at Red Rock Mountain. Next is biodiversity loss. The loss of the biodiversity is being done due to the acid rain, as the biotic components and the small creatures and all those creatures which is being depending on the environment is being affected. The both terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem is being affected. So this is the problem which is being faced in the Adirondack Mountains, New York. Now this is the analysis part. So the primary contributors to acid rain in the Adirondack were emission from industrial activities and vehicular pollution. The prevailing wind carried pollutants from the Midwestern United States to the Adirondack region, where the precipitated as acid rain. So after knowing the problem, the proper analysis is being done, and analysis leads to the result that the primary contributors towards the acid rain in the region is the industrial activities and the vehicular pollution. So the contributors, the pollutants which are being responsible for the acid rain are coming out from the industrial areas and the vehicular pollution. So vehicular pollution and industrial activities which is being situated at the Midwestern United States to the Adirondack region, where they precipitated as acid rain. So industrial areas and the vehicular pollution which is being situated in the Midwestern United States to the Adirondack region, and they are responsible for the acid rain as the precipitated in the form of rain, snow, hail as in converted into acid rain. So the primary contributor, after analyzing the problem, the result may be drawn like the primary contributors to the Adirondack were the emissions from the industrial activities and the vehicular pollution. Now this is the solution to the problem. First one is legislative measures is being taken, which means the many acts were being formed, but there as an amendment is being done into the Clean Air Act, which is being termed as Clean Air Act Amendment 1990. By observing the problem and analyzing it, the solution is being drawn. So first resolution is being taken in the form of legislative measure. So legislative measure, which means it's a legal measure, and it is being done by doing amendment in the Clean Air Act, so which is known as Clean Air Act Amendment 1990. So cap and trade program is being organized. The US government implemented a cap and trade system for CO2 and NOx emissions, which means the US government take a stand and implemented a cap and trade program system for the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides emissions. This program set a limit on emissions and allowed companies to buy and sell allowances, providing financial incentives to reduce the pollution. So under this cap and trade program, they set a limit on the emissions of the carbon dioxide and of the sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen oxide, and also it allows the company to sell and buy the allowances, and also it provides the financial incentives to reduce the pollution. Emission reduction. Power plants were required to install scrubbers and adopt cleaner technologies to meet the emission reduced targets. Next is scientific and environmental interventions. Liming of the lakes, like neutralizing acidities. To counteract the acidic water, calcium carbonate was added to some lakes and streams. This helped to increase the pH level, making the water more hospitable for aquatic life. Now, as we have already studied that when the pH level is dropping below 7, it means that that water level becomes more acidic. So for neutralizing it, the contribution of calcium carbonate, that is also known as lime, was added to some of the lake water stream, which act as a hospitable for aquatic life. So for balancing the pH level to help which helps in increasing the level of pH, calcium carbonates, or we can say lime, is being added to some of the water bodies like lake, so that it can act as a hospitable for the aquatic life. Next is monitoring and maintenance. Continuous monitoring of pH level was necessary to ensure the effectiveness of liming and determining when additional treatments were required. So this is the monitoring and maintenance. When we monitor the part continuously, and the pH level was necessary to ensure the effectiveness of liming and determining when additional treatment were also required. So these are the scientific and environmental intervention, which is being done by neutralizing the acidity by mixing a calcium carbonate into the water, so that the pH level may be balanced. And by proper monitoring and maintenance also, pH level is being continuously monitoring, and when it is increasing, the effective measures is being taken to balancing it. So these are the legislative measures and scientific and environmental interventions. Forest management. Now, how does forest help? Soil amendment. Adding lime and other soil amendment helps to restore nutrient value in the soil, promoting healthier forest growth. And second is tree planting. Reforestation efforts with species that are more resistant to acidic condition help to rebuild the affected forest. So forest is also by managing the forest, acid rain can also be controlled, as we have already studied that by adding lime into the soil, which may helps in restoring the nutrients value of the soil. The nutrients which is being consisting under the soils, their levels may be maintained if we add lime into the soil. So it helps in promoting healthier forest growth. And next is planting of trees. As we are already aware that the plants are the biggest source of absorbing harmful gases from the environment. So if we plant more and more trees, then the carbon dioxide releasing into the environment is being absorbed by the plants, and which may reduces the chances of the air pollution, and which ultimately results into the diminishing of the acid rain. So reforestation is the wisest solution towards the every problem which is related to pollution. So reforestation efforts with species that are more resistant to acidic condition help to rebuild the affected forest. Clean energy transition. Renewable energy. Encouraging the use of renewable energy sources such as wind and solar power. Reduced reliance on fossil fuels, thereby decreasing sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide emissions. So by encouraging the uses of renewable sources such as wind, solar power, it will decreasing the usage dependency on fossil fuels. And when the dependency on the fossil fuel is being decreasing, their burning is being stopped, then thereby decreasing of the sulfur dioxide and the nitrogen oxide emissions. So when the gaseous elements such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide is being decreasing, they are releasing directly into the environment is being also stopped. And when the SO2 and NOx is not being released, then the chances of the acid rain may also get diminished. Next is energy efficiency. Promoting energy efficiency measures in industries and homes reduced overall energy consumptions and emissions, which means if we promote energy efficiency measures in industries and homes, and it will reduce the overall energy consumptions and the emissions. So when the overall energy consumption is being reduced, the dependency on the gaseous elements may also get decreased, and which may ultimately results in decreasing of the pollution, and the acid rain can be stopped. So this is the clean energy transition, which consists of the renewable energy, usage of renewable energy, and the energy efficiency. So the problem which is being arised in the Androdox city of the New York is being solved by adopting all these measures. Now outcomes. what are the outcome of this study? The implementation of the solution lead to a significant reduction in acid rain and its harmful effects on the Adirondack ecosystem. So if we adopted all these measures, then there, after analyzing, monitoring we have realized that the outcomes it brings us a positive results, and the harmful effects on the Adirondack system is being diminished. So the outcome is being divided into three categories: that it helps in improving the water quality, healthier forest, and increased the biodiversity. So the improved water quality, the pH level of many lakes and streams have increased, leading to a rebound in the fish population and other aquatic life. So if the water quality is being improved, if the pH level of the water quality is around 7, then the aquatic life which is being depending on those water body is be healthier one, and it will leads to a rebound in fish population also. So the after adopting all those measures, we can analyze that there is an improvement in the water quality of the Adirondack ecosystem. Next is healthier forest. If the quality of the soil is being improved, and if it supports the healthier and more resilient forest, if the reforestation is being done, then it may leads to healthier of the forest. Next is increased biodiversity. The recovery of both terrestrial and aquatic system has been observed with the gradual return of a diverse species. So the it means that the biodiversity is being also increasing, terrestrial and ecosystem, which means that all those biodiversity which is being presented on the land, and aquatic ecosystem, the biodiversity which is being presented under the water has been observed that if the usage of acid rain, if the acid rain falling directly on the earth is less harmful, then the fertility, reproductive system of these biodiversity is increasing, which may leads to the increasing of all these biodiversity with a gradual return of a diverse species. So these are the outcomes which is being categorized into three parts, that is improved water quality, healthier forest, and increased biodiversity. As these three outcomes is being drawn by following all those measures which we have studied in the previous slides. If we follow all those measures strictly, then like Adirondack ecosystem, one can make a whole earth a healthier one. One can improve the water quality of the earth, as well as it may also result into the healthier forest, and which ultimately result in the increased biodiversity with the gradual return of the diverse species. So this is the outcomes of this study. Conclusion is being drawn that the case of acid rain in the Adirondack mountain illustrates the importance of multifaceted approach to environmental problems. Legislative actions, scientific intervention, technological innovations, and community involvement were all crucial in addressing and mitigation the effects of the acid rain, which means, as we have already studied through this case, that the Adirondack mountain is suffering from the harmful effects of the acid rain, but when they have adopted the corrective measures, then their outcomes are also very affected one, that the results which is being drawn after adopted all these measures are comes in a positive way. Like if they have adopted the corrective measures in the form of legislative action, scientific intervention, technological innovation, and community involvement. So all these crucial steps helps in mitigating the effects of the acid rain. So this comprehensive strategy not only restored the natural environment, but also set a precedent for dealing with similar ecological challenges globally. So the all those corrective measures which is being adopted by the New York, so these after analyzing all these corrective measures, one can follow these corrective measures globally, so that the severe effect of the acid rain can be controlled and the pollution may also get controlled. So in conclusion, we can say that acid rain is a complex and widespread environmental problem that requires a multifaceted approaches to address. By understanding the causes and effects of acid rain as well as implementing effective mitigation strategies, we can work towards protecting our ecosystem, safeguarding human health, and ensuring a sustainable future for generations to come. So it is very important to know the consequences of all these disastrous pollutions which may leads to the acid rain, and if it is not being controlled today, then we may suffer in our tomorrow, that our future generation will get affected. So one should control the emissions of the harmful gases, harmful pollutants which are contributing towards the pollution, like air pollution, and which may leads to the results into the acid rain. So the mitigation strategies which is being formed by the government should be taken by the individual. The individual must be that much aware that he or she should know the negative consequences of all these pollutions, and the peoples who are much educated, they can aware other people also. So by adopting the causes, by understanding the causes and effects of the acid rain as well as implementing effective mitigation strategies, we can work towards protecting our mother earth. That's all for today's class. Thank you and have a great day.